All right, we're live. We're going to start recording here. Hi, this is Jordan Moorhead with the Moorhead team, and this is the Austin Real Estate Investing Podcast. Today we have Jason Drees on here. Jason Drees is the performance coach who recently moved to Austin, Texas, and he's going to tell us all about what he does with real estate investors and how he can help us get better.
Excellent. Hey, Jordan, how are you?
Doing great. How are you, Jason?
I am doing fantastic. Thanks for the invitation to be here.
Great to have you. So real quick, tell everybody who you are and what you do to help real estate investors.
My name is Jason Drees. I am a founder and creator of Jason Drees Coaching, which is a performance coaching company. And what we do is we help people, and most of our clients are investors, real estate investors. We really help them hit impossible targets and go bigger and create success at much higher level than they have been in the past.
Love it. Short and sweet. That's an awesome description of what you do, because I know you do it very well, and you do it for a lot of big name real estate investors out there. And like you said, you're not just doing it for real estate investors. I'd assume it's for anyone that wants help just going big.
Well, what our specialty is actually mindset. So the actual subject that is applied to it is irrelevant. It could be real estate investing. It could be sports. Like, it doesn't matter. It's all mindset.
Yeah. Awesome. So you recently just moved to Austin, right? Could you tell us a little bit about that and why you ended up moving to Austin here?
Yeah, we moved to Austin in April from Northern California. We lived in Rockland, California, which is near Sacramento. And we had been wanting to leave California for a while for a number of reasons. Even though I lived in California my entire life. And we were looking for opportunities and where to go. And we were looking for what opportunities life was bringing us. And the opportunity that my wife got was to start a new Acton Academy in Austin, Texas. So she is actually a teacher. Our boys go to Acton Academy. And we had an opportunity to leave Texas and her to be the head of school there. So that's why we came to Austin.
That's awesome. I had no idea that was the reason. So Acton Academy, for those who don't know, I don't know so well, it's kind of an alternative school. The only reason I know about it is because a lot of the GoBundance guys send their kids to Acton Academy.
Yeah, so it's the closest thing to Entrepreneurship School you could think of, right? It's based on the hero's journey. It's collaborative. It's mixed age. Like, there's no homework, right? So it really focuses on each individual student's journey through education and life. And it creates a lot of really strong social skills and collaboration with kids. And it's a really awesome environment.
Yeah, it's so awesome. Especially when the traditional school system is just so behind on everything.
It is going a different direction, that's for sure. Yeah. Like one of the best things about Acton, there's no homework, right?
Oh, really?
What do you need homework for in fourth grade? Like, you're in school for 35 hours that week. They need 2 hours a night. Like, that doesn't do anything, So it really helps with a better alignment with childhood, with the family, and with success. And it's a really awesome start to life. So it's it requires the families to be more engaged, which is a good thing. But it's been great. Our boys have been there for about 3 years in that program.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've never heard anything but good things. And it's all entrepreneurs and real estate people who are sending their kids there. And I'm thinking, hey, if all these really successful people are doing it, there might be something to it.
Yeah. Do you have kids?
I do not. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. When you do, you'll look at Acton probably.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So real quick, Jason, if we could talk about how you got started as a performance coach and really what drew you to that would be awesome.
I was in technology sales for about 16 years. And I had my first company that I started was a company called 986 Incorporated. And we designed and manufactured race car driver cooling suits. And I had been listening to Tony Robbins' programs for probably 5 to 7 years, his audio programs. And then I hired a Tony Robbins coach to help me in that business that I was working on while I had my day job. And somewhere along that journey, my second year of coaching, my coach actually asked me if I've ever thought about becoming a coach. And when he asked me that question, it was like I got struck by lightning. It was like, and it just like lit me up. And at that point, it changed my trajectory forever. And ever since that moment in 2012, has been literally my process of the coaching journey.
Really? So the race car driving suits is really interesting.
Yeah.
How'd you get into that? Are you really into racing?
No, I wasn't. It actually started as a venting idea for motorcycles because I would ride my street bike and I would wear a jacket, and I was always frustrated because the vents never really worked very well in a jacket. And you got to wear safety gear when you're riding a street bike. So they were hard to open one-handed, and also they didn't really flow through the jacket to cool you off. So it was actually an engineer in mine was talking about a venting design, and then he discovered this product called a cool shirt, which was like the incumbent. It's like a t-shirt with blue hard tubes sewn on it that they pump cold water that's from an ice chest. And he also discovered this thing called a Peltier thermoelectric cooler, which is this little bitty, like, looks like a sandwich, a little wafer, that when you run a current through it, one side gets hot and one side gets cold. So we actually invented a solid state liquid cooler. And then we also invented products that basically used like molded Camelback style bladders and made shirts. And we pumped cold water over the driver's body to cool them off in race cars. That's what we did.
Awesome. Is that business still in operation today? Is your partner running with it?
No. We kind of did a deal with Momo Italy, the Italian racing company. They took over the IP. They worked on the project for 6 months and then they let it die.
Really? That's a bummer.
And then I got sued. So by an investor.
That's not fun.
That's another story. But part of my process though, right?
Yeah, no, I think everything's part of getting to where you're going, and it hurts a little bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I know you work with a lot of real estate investors. How did that get started?
It really started from working with Brandon Turner.
Yeah. Brandon
Turner reached out to me, what was it, 4 years ago, something like that. And I didn't know who he was because I wasn't a real estate investor. And he reached out to me. He was referred to me, I think he was referred to me by another member of GoBundance that was a client of mine. And Brandon and I coached for about a year and a half. And then it was at the end of 2019, we started working together and we did some Instagram lives and we did some kind of joint marketing together. And ever since then, Jason Drees coaching has started to explode.
Yeah,
with real estate investors to the point where now I've got a book written by published by Bigger Pockets, and I'm in the Bigger Pockets magazine next month. I'm on the cover of the Bigger Pockets Wealth magazine. So it's all that relationship started with Brandon and it's just grown over the past year and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What percentage would you say your business is real estate investor clients versus the other clients you have right now?
90.
Wow.
90% real 90% real estate investors. Yeah. Like literally almost 98% of our lead traffic is all from the real estate investor ecosystem. Now there's a lot of people in the real estate investor ecosystem who aren't real estate investors. They just like the content. So they come in too. But I would say, 99% of our clients are real estate investors or entrepreneurs. And then the other 1% is, people who just are looking for a coach or for growing and expanding. That's just the way this business has grown, and that's where the audience is. Although we coach all sorts of people. We have teenagers we coach.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, real quick for people listening, a lot of people hear our performance coach or mindset coach, and they say, "What is that? What does that person do?" Obviously, we can see people like Brandon Turner. Like, of course, it's working. You started working with him 4 years ago.
Yeah.
He's done tremendously well over 4 years. Could you tell our audience a little bit about what your company does and how it can help anybody, just so they have an idea and maybe they could check it out?
Yeah. So performance coaching and mindset it's kind of funny being an expert in something that's very hard to describe. But mindset is really like the level of thinking you're operating from. Like when you start something new, you're a beginner and you don't really know any strategies and you have to practice and it takes a lot of work. And then if you've been studying that same subject for 5 years or 10 years, you get a lot better. So if you're a brand new real estate investor, you're reading the real estate books and you don't know what to do and it's a lot of trial and error. And if you've been a real estate investor for 10 years, you've got a lot of experience under your belt. So you're operating from a higher level mindset. What holds people back from growth and acceleration is themselves. They're their biggest obstacle. And what we do is we help people get into alignment with the targets and the goals they want to accomplish, so the time to actually accomplish them gets radically shortened. That's what we do. And so performance coaching isn't just goal setting. It's not just talking about strategy, and it's not just talking about accountability. That's actually kind of like the old way of coaching. What we're actually doing is aligning people with the version of life, the version of themselves that will have what they want. So life starts to become a more relaxed, flowing, fun, fulfilling thing versus grinding and hustling all the time, right? Because there's grinding, right? But grinding implies resistance, right? If you're pushing in resistance, that means there's misalignment. And what I've discovered to do, how to do over the course of my career, is I've figured out how to get myself into alignment. And when I got myself in alignment, my business went from just me in 2019 with $100,000 in revenue, just me. In 2020, we did $1 million in revenue. And then this year, we're almost 2.5 times that already. So we 10x'd our revenue last year, and this year we're going to triple it. And I went from just me as a coach 14 months ago to having 13 coaches working for me and another 10 to 12 people on my team in 14 months. So, and I've been dissecting the process of what I've done. And what I've done is I've really figured out how to get into alignment with growth and expansion. And most people operate moving forward based on the past. They're using past references. They're using past models of success. They're using expectations or socially conditioned beliefs about success or about processes. But the plain fact is that in the next moment, anything is possible. So what we really actually do is we get people clear from all of the mental clutter that is blocking their success moving forward. So it starts to flow, and we aim them at higher targets so they get better results.
That's awesome stuff. Yeah, I love observing other very successful people, because you see people like Elon Musk, or I was just at a seminar for Keller Williams agents, and Gary Keller spoke. There's all these people that have done just this incredible stuff. And for somebody that's not in that mindset, you say, well, oh, it's good they can do that. Mm-hmm. It's so great that they're able to do this stuff. And I've had people say that to me, oh, it's great you can do this. But there's nothing special about me, or there's nothing really special about Gary. Obviously, he's a special guy, or even Elon Musk for that matter.
Yeah.
But something in them allows them to have this mindset. I think most people need some sort of mindset adjustment from somebody like you to get in this space of, hey, I'm going to fly a rocket to Mars type of deal, because they haven't seen somebody else do that.
Well, it does help, right? If you're not where you want to be and you don't know how to get there, then an outside perspective can be the thing that changes everything. Yeah. And what we don't realize is that we are creating our own life. We're creating our own reality. Everything that we're experiencing is our creation. And what usually happens for most people is they wake up every day and they look at their life and they look at their bank account or their relationship or their job or their body. They have a reaction to it. And based on the reaction, they take action. The only problem with that is the state of reaction is not a state of alignment. Because a lot of times there may be self-judgment there may be resistance to the present moment or things in your life right now. So you are always creating what you are. So if you're always in reaction, you're literally going to recreate a disempowered version of you in a disempowered future, instead of starting from a place of alignment, because success is actually the starting point. It's not the destination. Right? A lot of us would think, and I did this for years before I figured it out. Like, I think I'm not successful yet because I have to figure out how to be successful. Success is not something you become and achieve. It's something you are. When you start in success, you will get success. Because, for example, imagine a small circle right here. I'm going to give you a graphic. It's called action. right? And we all focus on action because as entrepreneurs or real estate investors, we want growth, we want more money, we want independence, we want all that stuff. So we're chasing the action. And we look and we know that the right action will give us the right result and the wrong action will give us the wrong result. So we look in other books and look at other people's references and we try to copy them, and sometimes they work. But the thing is, action, this circle action actually comes from mindset. There's a bigger circle. So mindset creates your action. Your level of thinking determines what strategies you can think of, right? If your mindset is aligned with the target, you'll create an aligned strategy and take the right action and get the result. If your mindset is in misalignment, you'll create the wrong strategy, take the wrong action, and you won't get the target. And for the longest time, I spent a lot of time grinding here. Like I literally went to work for Tony Robbins to grind myself like crazy. And it didn't work, it didn't work, it didn't work, it didn't work. And finally, when I quit, everything started flowing and my head exploded. Because I'm like, oh, I'm not meant to be a coach. This isn't going to work. This was in the middle of 2019. I'm like, this isn't going to work. I'm going to quit. I'm going to go back to sales, whatever. And then literally the next month, everything started flowing in. And I was like, wait a second. I busted my ass for years and nothing happened. And I quit and it starts flowing in. And I realized that I was grinding out of alignment, because when you're taking action, if you feel resistance or procrastination or apathy or frustration or any of that stuff, that's all misalignment. And when you're forcing misaligned action, you get a mediocre result, because what I've actually discovered is you have action, then you have mindset. There's actually another circle. The circle, the big circle here, which I discovered last year, I call your frame. And your frame is literally you. It's your consciousness. It's your thoughts. It's the vibrational frequency of you. And the way our brains work, we think that action creates your reality, but it doesn't. Your reality creates your action. The reality you're operating in determines the thoughts you have. The thoughts you have determines the strategies you think of, and that determines the actions you take. So everybody's got it backwards. And when I've discovered this over the past year, the results for myself and my clients have been exploding, because it's far easier to shift your frame and get into alignment than it is to try strategy after strategy after strategy. Because we all think that hard work creates success, but it doesn't. If hard work created success, we'd all be billionaires. It doesn't. Hard work increases your chances of getting into alignment with success. And when you look at all of the podcasts and when they interview all the successful people and ask them how they create success, they don't really actually know. They tell you their strategies. I woke up at 4 o'clock, I took cold showers, and I ate Brussels sprouts, and I didn't, and so because they don't know. But what actually creates success is when your frame is in alignment with success, you actually start thinking different thoughts, and the different aligned thoughts may have, instead of having a hamburger for lunch every day, all of a sudden you feel like getting a salad, you go to the salad place, and now you make a new contact and your life changes. Because success is a combination of you working with life. And most of us are trying to tell life how it is. It's like this. And that's what I did for year after year after year. I'm like, this is how life goes. And it didn't work and didn't work. And I got mediocre results. And when I started to look at what life was giving me and what was working and where there was ease of flow, where there was resistance, which connections, what things I was hearing, that's when I started to really figure out how to work with what life was bringing me. Because it's easy to create success at this level, but to create success at this level, you have to align with life. There's no other way. And your frame is how life responds to you, because we know life responds to us. We've all had times when life is going great, and we've had times when life is going terrible, right? And what I've figured out is that the way life responds to you is based on your frame, which we could simply describe as your expectations, how you expect business to be, how you expect investing to be. What do you expect it's like for you when you do a deal? What do you expect when it's you doing a deal versus the other agent? Are deals easy for them and hard for you? So it's those expectations are the indicators of our frame. And shifting those can be very hard if you don't know how. Like, how do you get rid of doubt, right? Like, it's because you're in a frame of doubt. So when you start to move into alignment, you literally start to think different thoughts, and you start to have different motivation, and then you start to get different actions and you get different results.
So I guess the most logical question, without getting too in the weeds, is how do you start to help somebody shift their frame?
We're already doing it right now,
Okay.
right? This conversation is a frame shift because your perception of reality is made up of an infinite number of frames, right? You have beliefs. If I asked you, why does life work this way? And what's the secret to success? Like, you would give me what's in your brain based on your past references. So what we're doing right now is already starting to shift your perspective on success. It's already causing a shift because when I'm explaining this new perspective, you're like, oh, okay. And so the number one thing you can do is start to understand that the way you've been chasing success doesn't work. Like, the number one thing is that hard work doesn't create success. Alignment with success creates success. And you and I and all of us have a system built into us to help tell us when we're in alignment. Do we have those emotions, right? Because we've all been taught emotional mastery, especially as men, right? No, we haven't. We've been taught, put that stuff away, get off your butt and go cold call and hustle. Like, that's how you create success. That's what we are socially conditioned to believe. But your emotions, positive and negative, is your indicator of frame alignment. When you're feeling positive emotion and you're feeling certainty and confidence, your frame is aligned. When you're feeling doubt, fear, uncertainty, your frame is not aligned. So anytime that you're feeling doubt, uncertainty, and fear, and you're taking action, you may as well stop because you're completely wasting your time, because there's no action you can take out of alignment that'll get you the result. It won't work. I spent years there, years and years, chasing and forcing and grinding and doing like 40 minutes of incantations every day. Now I am the voice. I'll lead, not follow. I'll believe, not doubt. And it made me and everyone around me crazy. Some people get success that way. That was not my path, because my path was to do this and to discover all of this stuff. If I would have been the millionaire jet-setting race car driver 10 years ago that I thought I was going to be, I would never become a coach. But that was part of my process.
Love that. Everything happens for a reason, and that
absolutely,
the reason that didn't work out is so you can do this, which you're massively successful at, and you help so many people with.
Yeah, the foundation of frame shifting is my belief change process, which I discovered during the lawsuit from my first company, when I was having panic attacks when the attorneys was called because I was broke, my partner was broke, and we were sued by somebody who was rich with an attorney who billed by the hour. Like, literally, our attorney had to file a motion for excessive discovery requests. Like, it was just insane. And I was having panic attacks when the attorney would call, because I was like, and I had 2 small kids and I wasn't making any money. I was a new coach, that's when I figured out in that moment how to shift beliefs, which is like one of the foundation pieces. If you listen to my stuff where I do repeat after me's, that's what it is. The repeat after me's are the belief changes that came through the lawsuit.
I used to have this, I owned a fitness business, and I used to have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning in my early 20s. And I didn't love getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. But I knew if I didn't tell myself, hey, today is going to be a great day, this is going to be the best day ever, I would go in and I would not be the best person that showed up for those clients that came in at 5 o'clock in the morning. So I've used something like that myself, and it just helps so much. You can tell your brain how to act. I truly believe that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because your thoughts are like a radio station, right? Which station you dialed, are they positive thoughts? Are they happy thoughts? And we get stuck in patterns. And what we don't realize is that the patterns or the grooves that we're in for our thought patterns are usually conditioned by our environment, but we can easily change them. And changing them is as simple as just imagining a version of you that thinks differently. Because when you think of, like, if you imagine a version of you in the future, like, can you get a sense of a version of you in the future who understands what I'm talking about now more than you do now?
Oh, yeah.
And can you, and now you may not know it, but you can imagine the version that will, right? So that's actually how you shift your own personal frequency. Like, whenever we have these memories and we think about the past and we have these memories from 20 years ago and you're like, man, I was a butthead, and you feel bad about it. Like, literally that's you using your focus to go to a lower frequency. And that's why we feel bad. What I figured out how to do is how to take people to a higher frequency they haven't been. And I call that frame shifting. And then when you shift your frame to a higher frequency, then reality shifts with it.
That's so interesting. And I can't wait to learn more myself. I've heard you speak before, but every time I hear you speak and talk about this frame shifting,
yeah,
it opens up Pandora's box in my head. And, I almost have trouble thinking when I'm hearing about it, because you're thinking, hey, what would the future me think of this conversation? And I love that too. You look back a few years in the past and say, man, I had such a different frame of mind back then. Why did I not do all these things earlier?
Well, you couldn't. Because that was your past happened the only way it could, which was literally the sum of your life experience, is the sum of you and all the frequencies of your life is like what gave you that process. And the reason why our thinking almost stops when we have these conversations, because the conversation that we're having is beyond thinking. It's a high level of consciousness conversation. And the interesting thing about this is that when I first discovered this belief change process, and the only way you can change your beliefs is you have to take ownership of everything in your life. And you can only take ownership by viewing it from a higher perspective. When I first discovered this process in 2014, I tried to tell all the coaches around me and nobody could hear me. It was like shocking. It was like, I'm like, hey guys, I could change a belief in like a minute. Do you want to learn how? And people, it was like, I was like, no words were coming out of my mouth, because I was at such a different level of thought that they just literally couldn't even hear me. So when we have these conversations, I often feel like my head exploded, because it's a high level conversation. We're not, it's not our brain, it's the other brain, What does that actually mean? I don't know. I'd love to have a conversation with Joe Dispenza about this, but I haven't met him yet,
Who is that? I'm not familiar.
Oh, Joe Dispenza is a doctor and he's a chiropractor, and he specializes in like helping shift your reality through like deep meditation states, because he got hit by a car and broke his back in like 6 places or something like that. And instead of getting a 12-inch titanium rod in his back, he went home and meditated for 6 weeks and healed his back with his mind.
That's crazy. Yeah. No,
So he accesses that state of creation. He believes he tapped into the healing state of the body through deep meditation. And he also uses the same tools. The meditation as the gateway to shifting your beliefs, you, and reality. I've figured out a way to do that without deep meditation, just to do it like that.
Yeah. So obviously you teach people how to access this frame and shift your frame and change your mindset.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about setting goals with you. So I know you have a different perspective on setting goals. I was just at a goal setting retreat recently. Everybody's always talking about goal setting and why setting goals is so important. And I think it is for me. I want to hear more about your perspective and what you think about setting goals.
Yeah, I really don't set goals at all. And there's a couple places. Now, there's 2 places you can set goals. You could set goals in the known, and you could set goals in the unknown. So this is the example of known versus unknown. So for example, let's say you got a new real estate investor and they want to quit their day job and they make 10 grand a month and they want to 10 grand a month in passive income. They read Brandon's books and they realize they need $100 a door. They need 100 doors. They need 10 offers per house, 10 properties per offer, right? And so from today, that real estate investor could map out the path to $10,000 in passive income that would take them 5 to 7 years from today. They know how to do that. That's known, right? At the same time, that investor also knows it's possible for them to get in one deal in 5 months that would generate $10,000 a month in passive income. They just don't know how. It's unknown, right? So set goals in the known all day long. But when you get into the unknown, you can't set goals because it's more of like a discovery process. And if I look at my life, the success I've had over the past 18 months, if you had given me a magic wand 18 months ago, I couldn't have dreamed it up this hell because life unfolded far better than I ever could have imagined. So I feel like I'm insulting life and I feel goals are limiting to me. Also, as a side note, I've never liked setting goals. So that's my unique way. Like you're going to be successful when you operate your way. If you like setting goals, by all means, set goals. But what I would absolutely say, if you love setting goals, make sure you make them open-ended. My goal this year is to make 150,000. Don't make it rigid. My goal is to make $150,000 or better. You want to leave it open, because I've seen times when goals can shut people down, because you want to be cautious setting a goal on January 1 and chasing that exact goal for an entire year, because in 6 months, you're not the same person who set the goal. It may evolve. So you want to be open to them expanding as needed. Sometimes you got to hold them firm. Now, do I have goals in my business? Yeah, we're updating the client internal system. We're doing a new program launch. But what is my revenue goal for next year? I haven't a clue. No idea. I'm just like blindly guessing, right? Because literally we do 10x, then we grew 3x. I think we can do 3x again and hit 10 million next year. So I really like to think of it as, instead of setting goals, I'm exploring possibility. What's possible and what's impossible. So I look for avenues of growth, and as soon as I see them, I maximize the shit out of them, because I have no fear about going any size. So what works really well for me is looking for opportunities of growth, and when I see them, because in my past and my process, every time I set flags down saying this is what's going to happen, it never did.
Okay. And I think, you run into setting goals in the known makes so much sense. For a newbie real estate investor, say, hey, I bought a duplex this year. In 1 year, I want to buy another duplex. Yeah. Where in reality, just like you said, you bought a duplex this year. I know a guy who the next year he bought a 44 unit. Maybe you could buy a 100 unit or 200 unit or whatever you wanted to do. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
We all read these stories and know of these people who've achieved these massive goals. They just dip their pinky in at first, and stratospheric growth after that. I think. Yeah. You've coached some of them. Brandon Turner is a great result of that. He was doing all small deals, and then he went up and he's doing 100+ unit deals every month now, it feels like.
Yeah. Open Door Capital is exploding, right? And it's almost like, it's set your goals in the known and aim towards those. At the same time, don't just be in the frame where the unknown is possible, and don't be in the frame where the unknown is likely, but be in the frame where something amazing in the unknown is guaranteed to happen. You just don't know when. Because most people are literally shut off to that type of stuff happening. So they never have those ideas and they never have those connections. So take the action in the unknown, and then be looking around for hints from life and new connections and new opportunities and things that excite you to look for opportunities to jump at big targets in the unknown.
Yeah, I think so many people just have so many limiting beliefs that they see these great opportunities and say, hey, I couldn't do that. Or I just don't even, there's no reason for me to get involved in that.
Because everyone is moving forward based on their past. And they have past wins, they have past failures, they have past models of success. Like, most people would be far more successful next year if they had amnesia. Like, literally, right? So what we really do, JDC really does, is we remove that resistance, because in the next moment, anything can happen. But most people, and I like to say that 98% of the population, what they do next is a 1 to 3% variance of what they already did. And that's why most people's growth goes like this and their income goes like that instead of like this.
That I was thinking about this recently for me. So my real estate business started in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We did a certain volume, the real estate sales business. I moved to Austin about 2 years ago, and we'll already do about double that. And I think you just get out of your own way and you get in a new area and see new possibilities and just rock it up so quickly. Yeah. So it's so interesting that all you have to do is just change environments and change who you spend time around, and that can help you change your mindset. And all you had to do is move a little.
Exactly, because when you change your peer group or your environment, you're changing your frame. Right? If we grew up in an environment where everybody's income grew 10x every year, yours would too. But that's not the environment we grew up in. So we're like 10x. That's crazy. We can't. No, it's not. It just would unfold differently than we think it was, because we don't know what it looks like. So we think 10x would have to be 10x of the current formula instead of a new formula, which makes it happen easier.
So true. So obviously you don't set goals. Do you have any idea what's next for you? It sounds like you've had stratospheric growth over the last few years. I know you're doing a lot of cool stuff coming up here soon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Any plans for where you're going in the next few years?
Well, I'm still, as you can tell, I get excited when I talk about this. So
Yeah.
the content is still evolving, and prior to now, a lot of my content has been around getting into alignment, right? From out of alignment into alignment. The next chapter for me is really exploring what you do after you start in alignment. So my coaching tools and my processes are starting to evolve even more because I feel like the next evolution is, okay, now you're in alignment. What do you do? And so we do live events. We do one-on-one coaching. We do performance coaching. We do mindset education and training. We have a peer group in JDC, a community, and we also have mentoring and a mastermind too. There's more books in my head that are ready to be written. So right now it's really just help this message expand so we can impact more people. And I'm having fun doing it. So I don't know, but we're having a blast. So that's what we keep doing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If you love it, why stop doing it? And it's working well for you. So there's no reason. So you mentioned a few things there. The book, could you tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, the book is called Do the Impossible. And the tagline is unlock your full potential with the power of mindset. That's what the book's about. And the book is designed as like one giant coaching session. So what I'm explaining to you today in this conversation is literally the book is I'm giving you bits and pieces of it. The book is the foundation of what I'm explaining. So if you read the book and you follow the instructions in the book and do the frame shift exercises and do the repeat after me's and you say those out loud, it will create transformation in you. So it will teach you the process of understanding this perspective on how life works and how to get in alignment faster. And that's what the book's about. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I hope my mom picks it up and reads it and goes, "Oh my God, Jason, yeah, I changed my life." So, but it was an interesting process trying to get that concept into a book. But I'm really proud of it. And if people read it, it's going to create change in them.
Yeah, it sounds like a book everybody needs to read. Books are so cheap. Everybody says, "Oh, you spend all this time reading books. You spend all this money on books. $15, $20, $25 for a book that can change your whole life is the best money you'll ever spend." So everybody go pick up that book. You also mentioned you have a live event coming up. I think that's in a week, correct?
The live event, the Do the Impossible live event is this weekend. And we've been doing about one a quarter. And it's basically 3.5 days in a room with me, where we literally go through this foundation of the Do the Impossible principles at a deep level so you understand them. Then we spend a day getting you into alignment with all the parts of your life and all your areas around money and business and career. And the next day we spend just opening you wide up to what's next. And you do this in a small group, so you form a new community and kind of a network in that process.
Love it. You also mentioned your coaching. So you have a couple different types of coaching. Could you talk about that? Where people can learn more about it?
Yeah. So jasondreescoaching.com is where you can find that. And there's one-on-one performance coaching. Then we have a program called the Mindset Academy. And the Mindset Academy is a group coaching program where there's a call every Tuesday and you listen and you get some mindset education and training, and there's some exercises in there. And then we have a few calls a month where you can actually get coached if you want to directly by me and my team coaches. And we have a new program that's rolling out called the Mindset Academy 10X program, where we take a small group in groups of 10, and every Monday they get a Monday mindset reset call with me. And then twice a month, we have 90-minute hot seats where you talk to your peer group about strategies and where you're stuck. So that's kind of a combination of mindset training, performance coaching, and a mentoring mastermind group. That's called the 10X group. Yeah.
Yeah. So jasondreescoaching.com. Everybody check that out for more information on those programs.
Yep.
Wow, you've got a lot going on.
I do.
So, you've got a book coming out. Do you have a favorite business or mindset book other than your own that's about to come out that you like to recommend to people?
I have not read a business or self-help book in years,
Really?
since I can remember. I have found that in the process of discovering what my own content is, when I read somebody else's book, it affects my frequency of my brain, my mindset.
Mhm.
And I'm on this very fun, creative process of myself. So I'm more discovering what's there without putting other people's stuff in there. And that's the reason I don't read like personal growth books. The last book I actually read was a fiction book. And I think what's the guy's name? Was it Martin Weir? He was the guy who wrote The Martian. But it's called Project Hail Mary. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you read that? Did you
I
read
have
that book?
not read it yet. I know GoBundance sent it out to us, and my girlfriend actually read it and could not stop talking about it. So I need to pick it up.
If you haven't read The Martian, like the movie's good, but like pick up the book, you'll read it in like 2 days. And then Project Hail Mary was his new book. Like, oh my God, that was so good. I'm getting goosebumps. It was so good. Like that it was just a good science fiction story, and it was amazing. So read those 2 books. You'll enjoy them. They were awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. I know Jess loved it and just cannot stop talking about it.
Yeah.
So, Jason, I know jasondreescoaching.com is a great way to get a hold of you. Do you have any other ways that you like people to reach out to you?
That's the easiest way you can reach me there. You can also through Instagram, you can find me there, but it all funnels through Jason Drees Coaching. You can also book, if you want to learn more about coaching, you can book a complimentary introductory coaching session there. And you can also find information about the different JDC programs. But also my Instagram is tons of free content. So if you want to digest some of this content, that's a great way to do it. And on my website, I also have a mini mindset course. It's $20. It's about almost 2 hours of content, and it also lays out the foundation kind of these principles. So that's a great way to kind of start diving into frame shifting and mindset and understanding how to get in alignment.
Yeah, for $20, there's no reason anybody shouldn't pick this up. Stuff like that in the book. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
20, $25.
Yep.
He went out and paid that for dinner last night for one person in Austin.
Yeah, true.
So speaking of dinner, our last question here is, what is your favorite restaurant in Austin? I know you're a little newer to the area, but I'm sure you have a favorite.
I do. I've been out a handful of times, and with 4 young boys, I don't get out a lot. But my favorite restaurant that I've been to in Austin is Three Forks.
Three Forks?
Yeah, the steak
downtown here. Yeah,
that place
that's good stuff.
That's the Wagyu ribeye is like died and gone to heaven. It's like amazing, so good.
Love it. Well, Jason, thank you so much for getting on here. I can't wait to consume more of your content myself, as I've really enjoyed it. And everybody else that's listening to this should go to jasondreescoaching.com right now. Check out his other programs, especially $20 course. I mean, come on. Yeah. And his book will be out here very soon. So keep an eye out, and keep an eye out for what's going on for Jason. 10x growth in a year, 3x growth in a year, 3x growth again this year. I can't wait to see where you are in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Love it.
Awesome.
All right, Jason, you have a great day, and thank you so much.
You too, Jordan. Great to connect today.
Yeah.